Hello and welcome back to Pinky's Critical Thinking channel. And today I want to talk about the Conservative political party broadcast that I saw the other day, because I literally could not believe my ears as it was the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. So let's go straight into it. Well, they came up with a 5-point plan and they had 5 promises. And I've actually got the list here so I don't forget what they are. So the first one was they're going to halve inflation. Well, anyone who's been paying attention will know since they've been in power, inflation has gone from an average of about 2.5%. It's now heading towards 11%. I think it's about 10.5% at the moment. So yeah, that's their aim now, is to halve inflation. So they're going to make it half as bad as it is now, but still twice as bad as it was when they started. The next thing they're going to do was grow the economy. Well, the economy, as you may have seen, is predicted, due to mainly Brexit, because that's the only difference that the UK has to countries like Germany and France. So it's pretty much got to be Brexit that caused the slump in our economy, because our economy is the only G7 country that's predicted not to grow. In fact, it's going to shrink. So their plan to grow the economy, whether they're going to join us back into the single market and the customs union, who knows? But yeah, so another thing they've caused, they're now going to apparently mend. They're going to reduce debt. That's their next thing. So this is number 3. They're going to reduce debt. When they got power in 2010, the national debt was between 800 and 900 million. It's now 2 point something trillion. I mean, it depends where you read. Some are saying 2.3, some are saying 2.6. Well, if we average it at 24, so it's 2.4 billion, and we say it was at 800, 3 8 24, they've tripled the national debt. And they say they're going to reduce national debt. There's a word that I think you may be on your minds as you hear this, and I shall mention it in a minute. So the next thing is they're going to cut waiting lists. It doesn't actually specifically say the NHS, but NHS waiting lists were at a record sort of low when they took power in 2010. Before COVID, they had reached over 3 million people waiting for appointments and operations, etc. Currently, it stands over 6 million. I think it's nearer 7 million. It's 6 point something. So it's just unbelievable. But they're going to cut waiting lists. Yeah. Now the next thing is, and to be honest, with all the problems we've got in this country, where this has come from, I do not know. But they're going to stop the boats. They haven't specifically said what boats, but they're going to stop the boats. Well, assuming that the typical Tory sort of attitude is to appeal to the worst aspects of human nature, like greed and selfishness, I imagine they mean stop the boats is to stop the refugees coming. Refugees that are escaping Western-backed wars that the British government's backed. So we've got people coming here from war-torn countries like Syria, Libya. Well, there's so many countries. I mean, I mentioned Syria, Libya, Iraq, Afghanistan. I mean, you name it. There seems to be so many countries that we have destroyed that people are running away from. So another creative problem. Okay, that's not solely down to the Tories, but so they're going to stop the boats. Last year, the Conservatives allowed 500,000 new immigrants to Britain. That's 500,000. This is the highest. I think it's the highest number of immigrants since records begun, or it's the highest ever. I mean, I don't know, but so they're going to stop the boats. 35,000 people came last year on boats, and they let 500,000 people in. Don't get me wrong, I'm not anti-immigration. I'm pro-immigration, especially for things like we need doctors, nurses, things like that. I'm totally pro immigration, but they let 500,000 people in. Now, it doesn't take a rocket science to put two and two together and see that conservative ideology is free market capitalism. And as we've seen with the strikers and everything, they want to keep the wages low. And they want to keep wages low for a reason. They say to fight inflation. But what's causing inflation is record profits by the corporations, not from people's wages. So the reason they've let 500,000 people in, which, by the way, many of them from all over the world, they're not actually from Europe so much as they were before, because of, obviously, we've left the EU. Because these are poorly educated people coming for a better life in the UK. And poorly educated people tend not to know their rights. So they tend to work for much less money. So, anyway, I'll leave you with that thought. I call it gaslighting. So I think we are being really, really gaslit. So bear in mind when you hear this laughable list, think about it critically and think about what's happened. Anyway, I'll say goodbye to you all. Please like and share the video, and let your friends know about it, and subscribe to the group, subscribe to the channel, the Pinky's Critical Thinking channel. Thank you very much. Bye bye.